Mario, do you think he beats Mario's?
Don't matter if he beats Barrios or not. Still, Rolly Pacquiao. How many losses does Pacquiao have? Oh, that's another thing, bro. Pacquiao another one that don't give a about losses, and everyone keep tuning in for him, right?
Take chances at him trying to knock him out. If you ever hurt him, finish him. But meanwhile, just sit back and box and do your thing.
It has to be financial. I mean, any fighter that comes back, especially from retirement, a guy like Manny Pacquiao, it definitely has to do with money.
Fighters are split over Manny Pacquiao's decision to stage a comeback at 46. Floyd Mayweather has criticized the move, calling it a mistake that could tarnish Pacquiao's legacy and saying it's unfortunate to see him still competing at this age. Growing concerns focus on Pacquiao's health and motivation, with some suggesting the fight is driven more by financial reasons than competitive ambition.
As Pacquiao at his age, which is sad that he has to fight.
Rolly Romero says it doesn't matter whether Manny Pacquiao beats Mario Barrios or not, as Pacquiao is already a legend. He describes Pacquiao as one of those fighters who isn't defined by wins or losses. Romero also expressed interest in facing Pacquiao himself in a future bout.
Which fighters actually won?
Rolly Pacquiao.
Mario, do you think he beats Mario's?
Don't matter if he beats Barrios or not. Still, Rolly Pacquiao. How many losses does Pacquiao have? Oh, that's another thing, bro. Pacquiao another one that don't give a about losses, and everyone keep tuning in for him, right? Bro, all that undefeated, that don't mean shit if you're not fighting nobody. Nobody gives a fuck about you.
Roy Jones Jr. praised Manny Pacquiao's legacy, stating that the Filipino icon has nothing left to prove. He emphasized that Pacquiao's accomplishments speak for themselves and suggested there's no real need for a return to the ring. While Jones expressed admiration for Pacquiao, he questioned the necessity of a comeback at this point in his career.
Fighter of the decade, 1990s. Passing on the torch to Manny Pacquiao, fighter of the 2000.
Right?
Any advice tonight for him?
Just be smart. Don't get overly aggressive. Try to be smart with your aggression. Take your shots when you can, but don't go out there to just strictly knock him out. Just outbox him like you did last time. And when you get chances, take chances at him trying to knock him out. If you ever hurt him, finish him. But meanwhile, just sit back and box and do your thing. You have nothing to prove to him.
Any advice for any children and youth on the benefits of sports, not smoking in general? What would you say to them?
No smoking, no drinking, party lightly. Always keep your own mind. That's how I got to where I am now. I always keep my own mind. No smoking, no drinking, no drugs. Stay in your own mind. In your own mind, then you can make your own choices and decisions the proper way. Give yourself the best chance.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Salamat. Thank you.
Tim Bradley voiced doubts about Manny Pacquiao's comeback, suggesting it appears to be driven more by financial motives than a genuine passion for competition. He pointed out that fighters returning from retirement often signals money problems. Bradley also warned that Mario Barrios, being young and in his prime, could have a significant advantage, potentially ending Pacquiao's career in a harsh way. These concerns, he said, raise serious questions about whether the fight should even happen.
Yeah, getting back in the ring again for a world title fight.
Well, obviously, it has to be pertaining to any kind of money. It has to be financial. I mean, any fighter that comes back, especially from retirement, a guy like Manny Pacquiao, it definitely has to do with money. One. Two, I think Manny Pacquiao, I think his C game is a lot better than anybody, a lot of guys' A game, even with the age. But you have to take into account the last time he stepped foot in that ring, man, against Ugas. He didn't look good. He was outmatched by, a younger fighter. Barrios is no slouch. Barrios is a young fighter, bigger fighter, knows how to, control distance very well, can punch a little bit. Like, he's no easy task for anybody in the welterweight division. And for Manny to come back after this long and to face a young guy like that is dangerous. And sometimes, these old legends, they got to get beat up several times before they call it quits. That Ugas fight, I don't know if it was enough for Pacquiao. That's why he's coming back. But Barrios, he can he can finish Pacquiao. There's a possibility that he can finish Pacquiao and basically it caused him to go back into retirement once again. But again, what they say, the last thing that leaves is the power. If Manny got any of that power still left in him, if he lands that left hand, he can hurt the young gun. So, but that's easier said than done.
Yeah, I actually think he can beat Barrios.
Combat analyst Ryan Campbell shared his thoughts on Manny Pacquiao's unexpected return, highlighting the unusual scenario of a 46-year-old taking on a younger champion like Mario Barrios. He compared the situation to George Foreman's legendary comeback, noting that age can sometimes deliver surprising results. Campbell pointed out that boxing history has seen older fighters tap into a spark of their former selves for one unforgettable.
An only 8-division world champion. He'll be inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame next month. And then in July, BC, he's going to come out of retirement. Why now?
By the way, between those two dates, I believe he has an election coming up for a Senate position in the Philippines. So we always know that Manny is a busy man. He gets after it. He also dares to be great. And this is wild news. Look, in the boxing underground rumor mill, this had been floating around for a couple months. We just didn't know if it was going to be for real. Was Manny really going to commit to not just coming back after 4 years away, after just one fight in the last 6 years, at age 46, but to come back directly into a title fight against a young, in his prime, active champion in Mario Barrios? It's interesting theater, to say the least. It's a pay-per-view main event, reportedly for July 19th. And we know Manny Pacquiao has always brought big business, but now he's going to bring it in more of the late career George Foreman type of way to etch himself into that record book even further. Can Manny do it? I mean, look, the odds are certainly against him. But there's one thing about certain legends in this game. Think Bernard Hopkins, who fought into a very late age. Some of them, as long as they can physically get themselves into that ring, sometimes they can reproduce magic for one night. So it's a romantic situation. I got cats walking around.
Yep.
People are excited to see the PacMan back. You just got to kind of figure out, is this for real? Is he going to be for real? Or are we going to send him into a physical, violent retirement?
Campbell went on to discuss Pacquiao's current condition, focusing on his physical abilities. While acknowledging that Pacquiao is well past his prime, Campbell noted that he still possesses a level of speed comparable to many average fighters today. Though he may lack the sharp explosiveness of his younger years, his agility and hand speed remain effective, especially when measured against some of the less refined boxers in today's welterweight division. Recent training clips have only intensified
Power, right? He hasn't fought in 4 years. What makes you think he's got a chance against the much younger, the 29-year-old Mario Barrios?
Look, I'm not saying the odds will be high that he's going to come back and pull this upset or even be ultra competitive. But again, it's sort of like Manny's already superhuman. Turning pro at like age 15 or 16 at 106 pounds and winning titles in 8 divisions. And, oh, by the way, 2 fights ago for Manny in 2019, he came out of retirement and beat an unbeaten Keith Thurman for the welterweight title at the age of 40. There's very few greats that you can call all-time greats, and I think sometimes even above that category, there's that upper room. Is Manny Pacquiao one of those in boxing history? Sure. But let's look at a couple things. The last thing to go is power, yes. Manny was also absurdly fast in his prime. So like a Roy Jones Jr. who hung on far too long, but was still fighting professionally at the age of 50, he still got speed that kind of compares to the average or above average speed that's out there today.
Promoter Frank Warren and broadcaster Simon Jordan have both strongly criticized Manny Pacquiao's return to the ring, questioning the decision to allow a 45-year-old legend to re-enter a high-stakes title fight. Warren called the move disappointing and unnecessary, emphasizing that Pacquiao's legacy is already firmly established. Jordan echoed those concerns, stating, "There's nothing left for Pacquiao to prove, and risking long-term damage for one final bout feels more like exploitation than a show of respect."
I mean, Frank can speak to it far more eloquently than I can. I think it's a disgraceful decision. I think it's a appalling decision. I mean, the WBC make lots of appalling decisions, and I'm not a big fan of them. But the fact of the matter is Pacquiao is a legend of the sport. I don't know why they'd want to do it, whether it's the fees that they get as a result of it or whether it's the publicity. Boxing is in a brilliant position right now because of the Frank Warrens in the world and the relationships that he's developed over the last couple of years with the Saudis. That's opened the door for everybody else. We're getting brilliant fights. We don't need to rehash somebody that's 46 years of age that didn't look great in his last fight, stick him in against a world champion who isn't a great world champion, but that's not the point. The optics of this, the reality of this, there's no necessity for it.
They questioned the motivations behind approving this fight, suggesting that financial interests may be taking precedence over concern for Pacquiao's well-being. In their view, a fighter of his stature deserves to be celebrated in retirement, not pushed back into a risky showdown against a younger, fresher opponent. They emphasized that this is no way to treat a legend and warned that the outcome could bring regret rather than glory.
For it. Besides the WBC doing it for, I think, illegitimate reasons.
Why? I mean, Frank, you know the sport inside out. It seems to me, why does boxing always seem to allow for these kind of stories to manifest themselves?
Well, it's not boxing doing it, it's the governing body. I mean, it's their title and they decide who can fight for their title, so that rests with the governing body. I mean, for me, George Foreman came back, but he came back at an old age and won the title at 50 years. He was 50 years of age when he fought. You know, you look at
but he didn't go straight into a world title fight though, did he, Frank? He built up.
Sorry, that's the point I was going to make. You know, you come in and you test the water. Go straight in for a world title fight is I just don't go with that, and I don't understand that. And you know, and there are older guys who've managed over the years, although they've been active. For example, Bernard Hopkins, who's a great fighter, who fought well into his.
Others in the boxing community have been even more direct, calling the entire event a disservice to the sport. Some have compared it to spectacle bouts like Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, noting that while those are clearly entertainment-driven, Pacquiao's fight carries the weight of a world title. This, they argue, makes it far more dangerous and raises serious concerns about the integrity of professional boxing when matchups like this are sanctioned.
Champion Mario Barrios to defend his belt against Manny Pacquiao. And about 7 to 8, maybe 9, 10 years ago, I would have said, hells yeah, if we had a Manny Pacquiao championship fight. But Manny's been retired for 4 years. He's 46 years old. His last fight was in 2021, and he lost to Ugas in a unanimous decision. I watched his exhibition bout against the kickboxer guy in Japan. That didn't look good. This is a bad idea. A really bad idea. And again, I think people will look at this and go, well, Jake Paul fought Mike Tyson, and yeah, that happened. And I also said that Mike was going to get really badly hurt, and it was a terrible idea for him to do that. And there were some health issues and everything else. Luckily, Mike didn't get super hurt in the fight, but this is a world championship level fight against a sitting world champion, and Manny does not belong in there. And again, I'm worried that he's going to get hurt badly for the same reasons. What do I mean? The breakdown. Let's go. Let's just start here. Manny Pacquiao, again, I just went over it. 46 years old, been retired 4 years, lost his last fight. He beat Keith Thurman before that, but that was 2019. So it's been a while. And this is not me discounting who I think is one of the greatest boxers ever and has an argument to be the greatest ever, because what did he won world championships in how many different divisions? 8, 9, something crazy like that. There'll never be anybody like Manny Pacquiao. But let's just look at it and throw away your bias or throw away your fandom of Manny Pacquiao, because of course there's going to be a ton of people that watch this, and fair play, right, to those people that want to watch this. They want to see their guy go out and try to give it his all one more time. And Mario Barrios didn't look super spectacular when he was on the Netflix card, the Jake and Mike card, and he got dropped.
That wraps up today's video. Thanks for watching.